Ladies and gentlemen, and all you beautiful people, welcome back to League on Lock. The LCS here in free agency and the offseason so far has really been tearing it up compared to the other major regions. I don't know if all these announcements are all going to happen on one day in the LCK, the LPL, even the LEC. On the first day, tons of stuff was breaking, but the last few days, it's all been North America with the news, and we know Xmithie, one of the most coveted free agents coming in as a domestic jungler and somebody with probably definitely the most international experience when it comes to jungling, right up there with Sven Skaren. He's off the market, most likely heading over to Immortals, and recently, Immortals released what's probably going to be the rest of their roster, and it is, I believe, underwhelming would probably be the word I would use in this case. The most exciting is, of course, sOAZ. Misfits, obviously the best Western top laner of all time. The man's been around since Season 1, and maybe, just maybe, I hesitate to say it, it might be time for him to come cash in that retirement check in North America, because with this roster, if this is what it ends up being, it ain't going to be another World Championship run for sOAZ. We know that he had a somewhat miserable time on Misfits, especially in the summer split when the rosters were moving all over the place. He was the first player to announce that he would not be returning with them well before the summer split even ended. We knew maybe he was going to retire or go somewhere else, but the latest EU player to come over and across the pond to North America is sOAZ with Xmithie. And, you know, those two never count out sOAZ. Countless times we've seen him, even going back to Season 6, you think, okay, this guy's washed up, it's time to retire. And 4 years later, he's proven that he can still be at a world-class level. Maybe he can in North America. I think he can definitely compete with some of the other NA top laners, but this roster doesn't scream like it's contending for an LCS title. That bot lane, Altec and Hakuo. Altec is a player who has been around and made his rounds through the LCS. He's played on so many different teams. Echo Fox when they were good, and he's had moments. And you remember way back when he was on Cloud9 Academy or Winter Fox, we're talking 2015 here, folks. He was one of the up-and-coming young talents for the AD carry role, but he just hasn't come through necessarily in a lot of these moments. Obviously, Dignitas, he looked good, but he's not going to be a top 5 even AD carry, I feel like. And Hakuo, he's been criminally underrated. By the way, I can't believe we don't have Apollo and Hakuo. They're finally split up after 2 full years playing together. It's Altec that's likely coming in that AD carry spot. But that bot lane, it's not going to dominate and win you any games. They're not going to get destroyed in lane, but they're just going to kind of exist down there and go even. We still don't know what the mid laner is going to be, and they still have the availability to have an import slot with sOAZ taking up the only one. You've got to assume it's either going to be somebody from EU or somebody from the LCK, or formerly of the LCK, in that mid lane. It'd be nice to have a Pobelter reunion with Immortals, but I feel like some other team might pay more for him. And with Pobelter in there, is that going to be a contending, even playoff squad? It's too early to tell because we still don't know basically any of the other full rosters, save from maybe Team Liquid, who, let's face it, regardless of what the other rosters look like, Team Liquid is going to be the favorite to win the LCS and represent North America internationally yet again. But it doesn't really matter who they're putting in that mid lane unless it's Faker or some MVP doing B comes over. I don't see this team contending. Maybe they can go on a bit of a miraculous run and nab one of the final playoff spots, but outside of that, I just don't see the ceiling being there, which is a little disappointing. I was hyped for Immortals to come back. It starts off with Xmithie. Okay, you can surround him with a lot of talent. You don't need to use an import slot on that jungle role. Maybe you can fill out a definitely competitive looking roster, but I'm not so sure that that's going to be the case with this IMT lineup. One guy they could potentially have in the mid lane, by the way, is Froggen, assuming he continues to play, because we know he's not going to be on Golden Guardians. Golden Glue is coming in that starting mid lane, and it was also announced, we saw that this was being heavily rumored, that Closer from the TCL, the Turkish league, is coming over to North America. Another emerging region joins forces with another emerging region, because let's face it, that's what North America is. We're still just emerging and trying to reach our peak, which is maybe getting out of groups. But Closer comes in, and he is the MVP from the summer split. You saw him at the World's play-ins, and contracts, let's face it, has been one of the weakest points, that combined with the bottom lane for the Golden Guardians. So I think Closer, he could be an upgrade, probably. It remains to be seen how he does against higher level competition in the LCS as opposed to the TCL, but he completely smashed that league and obviously helped guide Royal Youth to a domestic title in that summer split. He plays a lot of the meta champions. He played a lot of tanks. He was 8-0 on Jarvan in the regular season, but this guy definitely has the mechanical skill to make some incredible outplays and can play some carry junglers as well. I mean, who knows what the meta is going to be in Season 10. Yes, Season 10, we have reached double digits, ladies and gentlemen. But Sejuani, Jarvan, all those picks, he can play with the best of them. Paired with Golden Glue and Haunser, that's going to be your top side of the map for the Guardians. And if you look at just those three, I immediately think that that's going to be better than a roster like Immortals, which we just looked at. So the Guardians, I think so far, will still wait and see what that bottom lane is going to be, if FBI sticks with the squad and uses up that second import slot. Even with, if you run it back with the same bottom lane that GGS had in the summer split, I think that is a playoff team. Even though you lose Froggen, I think Golden Glue is definitely a slight downgrade there, but it's not massive for them in that mid lane. And again, they have the flexibility to have an import slot in that bottom lane available if they choose to use it. But right now, before even fully announced rosters are here, Golden Guardians look like they're primed to be a slightly better team than Immortals, but both of them making big moves and still big question marks. Again, the only roster that we really know in full right now in North America is Team Liquid, and they, whenever we do power rankings, spoilers, they will be number one. There's really no argument to be made against that.